Okay, good morning. This is Larry again, and we're going to do Contact Report 42. Contact Report 42, the translator was the DeepL translator. Corrections and improvements made by Joseph Darmanin and Catherine Mossman. And the contact person is Semyazi. Okay, this took place Wednesday, January 7th, 1976, at 19 minutes after midnight. Thought transmission contact. Semyazi, I was very worried about you and therefore still call you at this hour. It was very hard for me to wait until you had finished your work. Billy, I was just about to go to bed and thought that I could catch up on some sleep. I have now sat about 16 hours in front of the typewriter and have written the last explanatory remarks from the creational genesis of Patali. Semyazi, I have monitored that, and I know all about your hard work. You really should not push so hard now, because the Patali level gives you some leeway over time. But despite your hard work, I want to talk to you about some things, even if I keep you from sleeping because I was really worried about you. It was me, ... Billy, I do not understand why you worry about me, because I am doing quite well with my work, and I have also received loving help, because when I compile the printed reports, someone has been helping me lately, so I can always save a lot of time. Semyazi, that is very pleasant, but you seem to feel really comfortable and unconcerned. Billy, why would I not? Semyazi, you really do not think about that anymore? I cannot register a stirring in you. Billy, I really do not understand you. I feel really happy and contented. I do not have a headache, nor does anything bother me. I am just a little tired. Semyazi, you really do not think about last night's incident anymore? Billy, oh, that's what you mean. No, right now, I really was not thinking about it. The matter is over for me, and I do not think it is worth it to say much more about it. Semyazi, so you think they wanted to rob you of your life? Billy, I am not exactly eager to have this inconsequential event in the report. Let us not talk about this. Semyazi, it is important, though. Billy, you think so? In any case, I do not find that. Semyazi, that is for me to decide. Billy, then do what you want. For me, at least, it does not suit me. Semyazi, now be sensible, because the matter is to be taken seriously and is in no way humorous. Billy, what do you know about it? Semyazi, Quetzal has been trying to take care of you for the last few days and has found that you are in danger. He was able to locate the time when they wanted to threaten you. But the person doing the job could not be determined because he was protected by some forces. Even after the incident, an analysis was not possible. Only the escape route was visible at a short distance, but afterwards all clues were lost. Billy, then the matter is already settled, because I have no questions about it. It was all just a stupid game with a little cap gun. So, just a toy, nothing more. Semyazi, but that bullet missed you by only a little, Quetzal told me. Billy, that may be because this stupid thing flashed right in front of my forehead and banged into a copper spiral and then into the ceiling. It must have been close because I felt the breeze. Somebody tried to shoot him. Semyazi, you were very lucky, but it was partly based on your reaction. Quetzal explained that you reacted incredibly fast and that you have very good nerves. He's giving you credit for that. Billy, it's all right. I am still used to this kind of thing from the old days, and it is really not worth talking about it any further. Semyazi, I just want you to be very careful. According to Quetzal, you did not worry about the event, nor did you think about it in any manner, neither before, when you received the knowledge of what was to come, nor afterwards. Billy, it is really not worth thinking a lot about such stupid things. But now you have said something about the previous knowledge about the coming events. Did you guys just cut in and teach me that stuff in my dream? Did you guys just cut in and teach me that stuff in my dream? It was a bit strange because I really did not know anything about it, and so I could not adjust to it. Semyazi, it was an intuitive dream form that warned you. We therefore have nothing to do with the warning. Billy, well then, once again, my better self has tried to take care of me. Semyazi, you can call it that, but be very careful in the future because we cannot keep you and the events coming at you in constant succession under control. We still have a lot of other work to do. Billy, I can take care of myself. I'm used to it. And I do not get scared over a midget blue bean like that. Semyazi, Ask It has told me various things about this, but please be careful anyway. Billy, my big promise. I will keep my eyes open and my ears pointed. But one thing would interest me nonetheless. Why did this idiot make an effort to put a lead bumblebee in my skull? Could you perhaps make an effort to find out if you can locate this misfiring twerp, or if Quetzal could do it? Semyazi, further efforts would be in vain because Quetzal has lost all contact to this person. However, his analysis showed that the attack took place for reasons of religious vindication. This was the result of the most recent probability calculations. Billy, fine. So then it is religious fools, but these are the ones I care least about right now. Semyazi, certainly you are not afraid of them, but remember that they can hire others for unfair work. Billy, I do not care about them either, and now I really want to consider this issue to be over. We do not want to advertise this nonsense anymore. I would prefer if you could answer some of the questions I wrote down tonight because someone is interested. Semyazi, certainly, but your nerves would be a joy to me if I possessed them. Only an earth human can be that cold-blooded. It is incomprehensible to me that you were already on the hunt for the shooter after a split second after the attack on your life. Seems to me that nature has not provided you with nerves, but with some metal cables. Billy, aha, so you also have nerves of steel. That is very gratifying to hear. Maybe I will put them to the test with you sometime. Let us see what they can take. But what about my questions? Do you have time to answer some? Semyazi, sure, but do you not want to lay your head down? Billy, you are talking quite bluntly. Where did you learn to do that? Semyazi, from you, naturally. I overheard you once when you said to someone, now put your tired head to rest, girl. Billy, you are not ashamed, are you? Semyazi, why should I? Billy, one does not eavesdrop on the dear earthworms when they are going to bed. Semyazi, you said that to a kid. Billy, that is different. Well, I have a special question here which reads as follows. What happens to you with the deceased, i.e. the lifeless bodies? Do you somehow shrink them into coffins and transport them to the next sun? Or do you bury them as you would us, because they are simply buried 1 meter 80 deep into the earth in cemeteries? Or do you somehow cremate them? Or do you just totally eliminate them? Semyazi, that is another very fancy question, but I can answer it for you. Earth burial is just as familiar and customary to us as it is on the earth. For this purpose, we have special storage facilities away from the inhabited areas. From ancient times, we have also maintained cremation for very, very rare cases, however, when such a cremation is desired. Apart from burial in the ground, however, the total elimination of the dead bodies is not usual. Burials are nevertheless things of individual requests, so one or the other form of burial can be used. Billy, aha, this is also the case with us, except that we do not yet know any total elimination if we refrain from the transformation into ashes. And that would not be my case, because I do not necessarily wish to be grilled and fried in an oven when I pass away. My wish is to be buried under a thick carpet of flowers somewhere on the edge of a forest and next to a murmuring brook in a warm country, because I do not want to get cold feet. Semyazi, you have got ideas. Billy, you have to have them. Otherwise, life is sometimes quite troublesome. Semyazi, sure, there are many truths in it. Billy, that is why I have ideas. But what is it like now? Should one rather let oneself be roasted, or better prefer the earth burial, or maybe even a total elimination? Semyazi, the last one is also not available for you. Billy, this is a typical case of the most imaginable, because if necessary, we can already carry out an elimination. We simply pack the dead body into a big barrel and stuff it full of dynamite. Then we blow the whole thing up with a bang and smoke and give the traveler an atomized ascension. Semyazi, you love to joke. Billy, of course, but it is an elimination option. Semyazi, your joke offers that possibility, but it need not be put into application. But to your question, it has to be said that the burial of the deceased is the natural form, because it has been like this since the beginning. But everything speaks against a total elimination, etc., because the loss of certain fluidal powers, which will persist for some time in the lifeless body, etc., must not be ignored, which, of course, become volatile through combustion or total elimination. Billy, how long will these powers remain in a dead body? Semyazi, they can last for centuries or even millennia, but at the longest until the skeleton is destroyed. Billy, are these powers important? Semyazi, they can be for the environment, for those who remain behind or the offspring, but also as a reconnection factor for the new personality after the rebirth of the overall consciousness block and the spirit form. Billy, so you are suggesting a burial should be preferred after all? Semyazi, certainly. I already explained that by the fact that this funeral is the normal form. Billy, then I was so lucky that I did not want to let myself be roasted. Semyazi, the earth humans seem to be unaware of the facts about the destructive powers of fire. On the other hand, however, the type of burial is really to be carried out according to desire, because every form of life should be able to decide for itself. Billy, of course, that is a good thing, but I think we have had enough talking about this subject. My next question concerns the transplantation of body parts or organs. We have been transplanting body parts from the dead to the living bodies, i.e., to living people such as hearts, kidneys, and eyes, etc., for years. What is your opinion about this? Should one do this or not? Semyazi, this is the type of development of the still primitive sciences which, with few exceptions, always has very little success. For example, our scientists also work with transplantation of eyes and other organs. However, these are then transferred to them from the cultivated living material of the particular life forms. Therein, they have achieved complete successes. However, eyes, limbs, and organs of all kinds are cultivated and transplanted by our scientists because the natural human eye, limbs, and organs, and the whole cell tissue, etc., cannot be replaced by any technology. So, body organs as well as limbs are not removed from the living or dead in order to be transferred to the living. Such transplantations involve very great dangers in various forms, of which I would like to mention just two important ones. One risk factor is the complete destruction of the immune system of the body to which a limb or organ is transplanted by a foreign body. A little note from me, seems like they have to just about kill the immune system so that the body doesn't reject whatever's transplanted in there. Okay, here we go. This means that the body on which the transplantation is performed must be rendered completely defenseless by anesthetics, toxins, etc., i.e., its immune system must be completely destroyed so that it does not repel the transplanted organ or body part. Yeah, that's okay. I got that. Sorry. Thus, the body becomes very dangerously susceptible to any external influences. So a very small dust particle can already be enough to endanger the body so that the life form dies. The second factor to be mentioned is that of foreign fluidal energies that are inherent in the transplanted part of the foreign body. This transferred fluidal energy works with complete certainty against the inherent energies in the body into which they are forcibly transplanted. This creates many dangers as well as bodily and consciousness degenerating factors. Billy, what do you do then when someone needs a new limb or organ? Semyazi, we have the possibility of a complete regeneration. Where this possibility no longer exists, however, we replace what is necessary with organs grown artificially from the cell tissue of the person concerned, which survive the lifetime of the body with complete certainty. This possibility is also applied to lost limbs, etc. Billy, this means no transplantation in the sense that is now possible on the earth. Semyazi, certainly. That is why terrestrial medical surgical science should not try to perform such transplants. The good form is the production of artificial and useful organs of replacement, etc., grown from the patient's own cell tissues. Billy, could you not provide some suitable plans and details? Semyazi, at present, this still entails the greatest dangers, for it would enable the human being of the earth to witness semi-organic life, which they would misuse for the edification of androids and turn into extremely dangerous fighting machines. Billy, that is possible. The Earth human is actually so crazy. Then good. Let us not do that. Do you live on your Pleiades in houses like ours? Semyazi, the question is illogical. Certainly we also live in houses, only we name these buildings differently. Billy, my question's not illogical. I may just have to put it a little stupidly, which made you misunderstand me. I wanted to ask, do you live on your Pleiades also in houses as we have them? Semyazi, sorry, it was a misunderstanding. Your question is logical now. No, we do not live in the same structures because our construction forms are all round, in flat, round form, with extensions, such as my jet ship, or they are spherical round, such as her jet ship. She's got a jet ship. Or they are spherical round. Mass housing opportunities, as you know them, are not given with us because all the ... Billy, excuse me, by mass housing, do you mean the cheese slices or the silos? Semyazi, you speak in riddles. Billy, by this I mean apartment blocks and skyscrapers, etc., in which people live as if in herds, like in silos, crammed together quite densely if possible, so that they even step on each other's ears standing up. Semyazi, I understand. No, these forms of housing are not what we have, because all forms of life are entitled to open freedom, which also applies to living in homes. Each family has its own home, which is built communally and needs no compensation, as this is usual with you. This ... Billy, you mean mortgage or rent? Semyazi, of course. Such things are a thing of the past because we have had no means of payment for a very long time. Thus, even the communally established homes do not require any remuneration. These homes are, however, not arranged in the same way as yours are, where they are built on top of each other. They are all rather single in a large country square of 100 by 100 meters, formed as a garden or meadow or park, etc., with many flowers, shrubs, and trees, and many other plants as well as vegetables, etc. Only the structures of the villages and the cities are of a different kind and are also built for a larger number of humans. In this respect, however, no comparison can be made with the earth. Billy. Man, oh man, that requires an immense amount of land. Semyazi. Sure, but with us, all inhabited worlds are made arable to the last possibility. Every usable area is cultivated and fertilized. Only areas that could not be cultivated were occupied with larger and several types of buildings at the same time, with buildings that you would call factories, with surveillance systems and beamship ports, etc. Billy, and who works in the factories? Semyazi, robots and androids under the leadership and control of a few men and women, but who perform only technical surveillance and control tasks. Billy, what does the rest of the Pleiadian humanity do? Are they twiddling their thumbs and lying on their ears? Semyazi, what do you think? All have their tasks on the planet itself as well as on other worlds, but to tell you about it would go too far, at least if I had to explain it to you today. Billy, good. How many people live in such a splendid home, which almost seems like a paradise, if I can imagine it so? Semyazi, there are never more than 5 persons, 2 parents, and a maximum of 3 children, because 3 offspring is the limit, which is why we do not suffer from an overpopulation problem like the Earth humans. Billy, then you have also solved the problem with your mother-in-law. Fantastic. I would put up with that too. I think I will move my residence to your Pleiades. Semyazi, I do not understand the problem with the mother-in-law. What do you call that? Billy, that is the spouse's mother. With us, these mother-in-laws do not have exactly a halo on their head because they often interfere in the child-rearing affairs, etc., of the children and raise a ruckus. Excuse me. However, this is not the rule. It must be said for the sake of the good and dear mother-in-laws, because I know several such patented women. Unfortunately, I cannot sing any hymns of praise because my mother-in-law, because she is a true hyena and the embodiment of the devil's grandmother herself. He's getting down on his mother-in-law. Semyazi, these are very new things to me. No, with us, the Geranisa, in parentheses, mother-in-law, abstains from all interference in the interests of their married children. Billy, do you call your mother-in-law Geranisa? Semyazi, certainly, I said so. Billy, otherwise I would not know. I think that is magnificent. How many earthworms do you think would be happy if the mother-in-law order that you have on your Pleiades ruled here with us? Semyazi, if that is what you are saying, then I understand. Billy, that is actually the case. But now to something else. Do you also know music, literature, and art? And do you have appropriate schools? Semyazi, sure, these things are common to all life forms in the universe. We also have appropriate schools for these things, but they can only be attended by really talented people who will later work in these things for the benefit of all. The interested parties are judged according to the presence of talent and admitted to the schools, so only real talents are admitted. There are therefore no such things as are customary on earth, namely that performers appear in public who make ear-hurting sounds. I often find that very horrible when I listen to earthly music. Billy, it is just barbarian music. Some manslaughter, some blood, some death cry, squeaking, hysterical nagging, and some nonsense of supposed love and moldy romance. That is what the earthworm finds beautiful. You must understand that. I think he's talking about metal. That's yeah, rock and roll will never die. Sorry. Semyazi, it is terrible, but all the more I am happy about the really good and harmonic earthly music, which has nothing to do with these sounds, which are often bad and unmusical. Okay, Billy, you are right, but how does your music sound and what kind of instruments do you have? Semyazi, I cannot describe the music to you because it would sound completely foreign to you. Likewise, the instruments would be foreign to you. Billy, then you just let it go. But would it be possible that you might bring me some music notes, a book, or something else, maybe a picture? Semyazi, for you to look at and feel, yes, but I should not hand it over to let it go into your possession or to hand it around. Billy, why not then? Semyazi, these are the safety regulations that we must comply with in every form. I should not bring any things to the earth if they do not remain in my own possession. The only exceptions are crystals and minerals, which are meant to help you. Billy, too bad. But can you answer me one more question? Semyasi, certainly. Billy, where do you get the money from when you walk around our earth shielded from vibrations and buy something somewhere? Semyazi, for these purposes, we look on earth for precious metals and gemstones with our search devices, which we mine in very small quantities with our devices and sell to buyers who compensate us with earthly money as an exchange value, which we then exchange into the required currencies as required. Billy, then you earn the money quite easily because the machines work for you. Actually, no big problem at all because such jingle stuff is lying around in many places on earth. But it is better that you get the change you need that way. Someone thought you would steal it somewhere and maybe clean out a bank here and there. Semyazi, this cannot be done. Billy, neither is it that you always have to go straight to the mill. Semyazi, so it was again another joke? Billy, of course. What do you think? Semyazi, I did not know that. It is a different form than the one I have known about you so far. Billy, I am just rich in form, ha ha ha, only not calculated according to curves. Semyazi, I do not understand you. Billy, it is probably better this way, but now I am really tired, Semyazi. I'm going to bed now. Semyazi, certainly, I wish you a good night's sleep. Billy, is that so common among you? Semyazi, I learned that from you, but now go to sleep. Goodbye, dear friend. So that is the end of Contact Report 43. Or no, 42. She mentioned that she can't go to the bank and steal from a bank. That's against the creational laws. You don't steal. Against the 12 creational recommendations or commandments, whatever they want to call them at the time. Stealing is wrong. So, okay, that's Contact Report 42, and we'll get on with 43 here when I get a chance. Thanks. Have a good morning. Bye.